and welcome to this lovely numerological case about one country that a lot of people, including myself, love, the one and only United States of America. In this video, I'm going to talk about the numbers of the full birthday of the United States of America. These numbers called the higher and the highest self. Now, from these numbers that I will read from the higher self and the highest self, and also from the names of the country, I will be able to describe the country in its very essence. That means the very personality of the great nation of the USA. So I'm going to describe all aspects of this country. So in order to do this, I've here made the numeroscope for the country, the United States of America, which was founded the 4th of July in 1776. So this means that its basic vibration is the number 4, as it's established the 4th of the month. Now the number 4 is associated with planet Uranus. And Uranus is all about innovation. It's about thinking outside the box. It's about doing new things. But what it's also about is about being different. Now we see that a lot in the United States, that they do a lot of effort to be different. You see it as in the electricity contacts. They have 120 volts and everywhere else in the world have 220. Now another thing is also that they keep going with the miles and yards instead of the metric system that is used in most other countries in the world. Now this means that innovation in the United States is one of the things they care about the very most. As the number 4 and associated with planet Uranus, it is about also technology and science, like thinking new ways in technology. And this is about imperial knowledge, like you test something like you do in science. Now this number 4 is also what rules the computer industry, the IT industry, which is all about innovation. Like, how can you make this new chip work even better? How can you make this thing called the internet? How can you connect all computers in the world? So it's really about thinking new ways and doing new things that no one else have done before. Now, we see this all the time, that in the United States, who invented the internet? They did. Who invented the computers? They did. Now, who invented the iPhone? They did. Who invented the iPad? And so on. So it's about knowledge that has to do with the facts, that has to do with the science. And also another aspect here is that as they are born in the 7th month, or established, that is the correct word, as they were established in the month of July, that means that the month vibration is the number 7, which is associated with planet Neptune. Now, planet Neptune is about very open spiritual channels. That means like you have a very good intuition. But the number 7 is also about this on the tarot card called the Chariot of Heaven. So it's a very spiritual number. But this spirituality also happens to become religion for many people. It's about something higher than us. It's about belief in something. So the number 7 is about feeling with your intuition, and it's about having a belief in something that could be religious, but it could also be more, how can you say, New Age spiritual in many ways. And these numbers, they clash a little, because 4 plus 7, that makes the number 11-2. And this number 11-2 means that there's a lot of this going on, that not believing proper belief in oneself, that this with the number 11-2, as technically we have the two numbers, 1 that is associated with the sun, that is about wanting to be the best, but also keep thinking, am I doing this good enough? Do people like me? And therefore also taking a lot of precautions about things and about people, and instead of just saying I do this my way, but instead of saying, oh, I have to be careful what people are going to think about me. So this means that there are a lot of worrying, a lot of worry in the United States, that worry about what do other people think, and what do my colleagues think, and what do other countries think, and that means they care too much about what other people think. That leads to stress for not getting things done, and not being good enough, and a low self-esteem is a theme here that make people depressed, and that is also even more amplified in the name of United States of America, which makes this number 15/6. Now this number 15/6 is about really putting people under the spell. And that means this is also the reason why a lot of people, they love the United States, and the nationalism here and patriotism, that is so high, because the number 15/6 is a very occult number. It can be also a very dangerous number, because what this number means is that one has very open spiritual channels, but receives a lot of intuition. So this intuition can sometimes be too strong, and the sender is not always clear. The sender, the guy or the entity who sends the messages. So this means that with this number 15/6, the country is very much controlled by external things, so therefore also a very harsh temper. A harsh temper, like also wanting to be in control. And now this number 15/6 in the United States of America, that means that they really want to be in control of things. They want to be in control of everything. But they're very good at spellbinding people in the way that they talk, and they amaze people who visit the country. And it's like people, they tend to love the country because of this. But it has the downsides that a lot of people have diseases, a lot of people get sick, because this number 15/6 has a lot to do with mental diseases, but also unhealthy disease, incurable diseases, and mysterious diseases. And this is also what leads to a lot of crime within the country. Now crime, we see this here as in this thing called the solar plexus center. That is what is more below the surface. That is that these are the numbers 7, 9, 13, 4. And these numbers are numbers of great misery, like you see in a lot of ghettos in the United States. This number 7 is about, like we previously mentioned, this very open spiritual channels, but with the number 9, it means that one has to work hard all the time, so one measures one's worth on his or her wealth. So that means by gaining financial results or business results, that is what one sees as being worth by. If one has many great business results, that's when one gets the self-confidence in the United States of America. So it's really like one doesn't really love oneself unconditionally. That's not the essence of the country, but it's more like the culture that you have to work hard, you have to gain success. So if we should really like you, you have to be successful. And if you want to be successful, you have to work really hard. Because the number 9 here in the solar plexus center, this is about working really hard. Because the number 9 is associated with planet Mars, that has to do with getting things done, being progressive, but also being somewhat judgmental. Judgmental on oneself, so it's like if one doesn't work hard enough, one is likely to blame oneself. Ooh, I should have worked harder, I'm not good enough because I don't work hard enough, and that is the downside here. But also we have the number 13/4, that is a number of cheating in relationships. And that means also in the United States, this is a big theme in the United States, cheating in relationships or marriages. Like you see this also with President Kennedy, and you see this also with Bill Clinton, and this has happened multiple times in the history of the United States, and some would also say with with President Trump. So this number 13/4 means that it's a lot in the essence of the United States, cheating in relationships. That is something that is a big issue. You keep seeing it on and on in Hollywood movies. So Hollywood movies, and the reason why things from the United States, they go all around the world so easily. Like if you think how many Danish movies are popular abroad. You can maybe mention 5, or maybe you can mention 10. But from the United States, you can maybe mention 1,000. And that is why in the name America, it makes the number 17.8, which is about spotlight. It's about being remembered, and it's also about having some kind of beauty, social attraction, charisma. It's about a really big charisma. This is about a really big international business. Like, that means the country, they have some ideas, they have some new ways of thinking that really lightens into the dark of people's souls. So this means that the United States of America, they really have a strong affection on people all around the world, a healing affection actually. So it really means that the United States of America, they inspire people very deeply. And this also comes to show from the Hollywood industry and all other industries in the United States that are international. You see it also in the IT industry, it goes all around the world, and there are this very amazing number combination which we see here that is about worldwide success. Because here in this number 17.8 that is in the name America, it goes with this life theme number 23.5, and it makes this number combination here called the World Conqueror. Now these three numbers, 8, 5, 13, 4 or 17.8, 33, 13, 4. This means that a lot of very big things can happen extremely easily in the United States. These numbers are also what create this very mystical thing that we call the American dream. Now this means that these numbers is about big change that can happen very easily. So for example, you can be a McDonald's employee, and if you work hard enough you can become a billionaire. And it also has its downside, and that is if one, for example, works really hard and get a decent life, living in the suburbs and in a good house with one's wife and children. But suddenly the husband gets ill and falls down with cancer, but he is not properly insured, so he can't get his treatment. And so he's forced to sell the house, and the whole family will end up on the street. Now this is the downside of the World Conqueror. And if one experiences the positive side of the World Conqueror or the negative side, this depends on the numbers in one's numeroscope. That like this is a numeroscope, and everyone has a numeroscope from one's name and birthday. But it also depends on what name we have that makes these numbers. So if one has very bad numbers, this means that it's the negative World Conqueror that one faces, and also if one has good numbers, it's positive, the positive way as described previously. So this number here, 23.5, that is a very amazing number that the United States has very strongly represented. This number 23.5 is first of all a money number. It's a number of making a great deal of money, but it's also a number of karmic reward. It's a number of always being divinely protected. Now, some religious people would say God bless America, and America is protected by God. And I'm not going to go into this discussion whether it's true or not. But this number, 23.5, is a number of very strong protection by the elements, earth, wind, water and fire, and the soul. So this means that a lot of things can affect the country, but still they will survive. And this means that they can get away with a lot of things. They can get away with a lot of nasty things also. For example, with President Nixon, during these uprisings of the student hippie revolution in the 70s, there were some peaceful demonstrations where on the US colleges, and on some of these peaceful demonstrations there were some cops who just shot and killed 5 students. And people across the country, they rose up and demonstrated against Nixon, but he survived. And people thought, oh, it was their own fault, they should not be such stupid hippies, and so on and so on. So even though they had committed a terrible crime, they still survived it. And also, they can go to Iraq and they can destroy and destabilize the whole Middle East, and people would still think that the United States are the good guys. And they can go to Vietnam and destroy the whole country there as well, and people still think they're the good guys. Now, this is what this number 23.5 really means. And this means also that they are protected in terms of clashes with people, because they have the column number here, which is the number 51.6. And this number 51.6, when we read in the ancient Persian descriptions of this number, it means that this is a number of nature of a warrior, and it means the likelihood of one's own assassination. Now, assassination is something we have seen a lot in the United States. Think of Lincoln, President Lincoln, and think also of President Kennedy, and think also of President Reagan. And about the concept of assassination. You may also think 9/11, 2001 as an assassination, as these two airplanes that clashed into the towers of World Trade Center. This is also an assassination of this kind. So this number 51.6, that this is about a warrior attitude. It's about using war to either as actually using war as a thing to make money, because this number 23.5 is about money, and the number 51.6 is about attacking people in hope to, for example, get a profit, and it's about really having this wanting to do a crusade in order to stand up for oneself, but in a very violent way. And this is also the reason why they have the Second Amendment. If you don't know what the Second Amendment is, it was something that was made when the country was established in 1776 that gives all Americans the right to own a handgun to protect themselves from the Native Americans. So this number 51.6 is also what the country is built upon. It's built on weapons, and it's built on war attitude, and it's built on an idea of that we have to sometimes use violence in order to protect ourselves. And the number 23.5 is about protecting oneself, and this number 51.6 is about doing it in a very violent way. And this is also the reason why there's all this of lawsuits, that if one person is angry at a company, they say, I have to destroy this company, I have to sue them, I have to sue their butt off. So this warrior attitude is what comes from this number here. And in the solar plexus center of the United States of America, they have here these numbers 5, 7, and 11.2. And that means that they're really good at talking, they're really good at communication. And the number 5 is associated with planet Mercury. That is about business, getting along with people. And it's also really about that we like all kind of people. That means that no matter who you are welcome here. And if you are Mexican, if you are an Afro-American, if you're Native American, if you're European, and so on, we can get along with you. And this number 7 means that we have to be very good at communicating, but we also have to listen to the words of God, of religion. So like following the words of religion. But then they have this number 11.2 that is about fear. So it means like we have to fear God. We have to think, what does God tell, and we have to do everything this God tells us to do, no matter what God we believe in, or if we believe in a God at all. So there is this theme of spirituality, or you can also call it religion, that is very strong in the United States of America. So they have these two destiny numbers that are very interesting. The small destiny number 14.5 and the large destiny number 32.5. These numbers are about business, and they're about making a great deal of money. Now this number 32.5 especially, this is about corporate business. This is about being very good at telling people about your success, like for example saying last year our company, they had a profit at $2 billion because our product is so good, everyone loves it. And then I just went to buy my new Ferrari and my new yacht and so on and so on. So people will say, wow, is that so? That's amazing. I need to go and buy your product because you tell me it's really good. And now this is this kind of, you can say bragging, but more in a way that it advances the success even further, like telling people your success stories. So the success will breed more success. And so they have the small destiny number 14-5, which is about being very responsible about money. That means like if you want to get rich, you have to be responsible. It's like you should not be stupid with money. That means you should know how much money you have. You should be good at checking out the market. You should be clever and all these things. When you want to make money, you really need to know what you're doing and not be a douchebag with it. Because if you are a douchebag and if you don't work hard enough, which this number requires, then you will not get wealthy. And so this means that being wealthy is a big theme in the United States. One of the things that the United States in its essence cares about the most, that is innovation and wealth, and it's about new ideas, and so it's also about war and aggression, but also reaching big goals. That is the main essence. And so we have here this number 21-3 as the year vibration. This number 21-3 is a very interesting number because it means that you see it with many famous people, like for example Donald Trump. He has this number. This number 21-3 is a number that gives you the opportunity to make a great deal of success made from academical knowledge. So it means that if you're clever enough, if you're wise enough, if you are studied at the right college, for example at Harvard, at Yale, at Stanford, then you can make a great deal of money. But it's like you have to learn first, and it means that you have to do a lot of experiences until you finally crack the code. So this number is about really studying a lot, studying hard in a way to find a way to do things that will make you very wealthy. Because the number 21-3, that is about wealth. It's a capitalist number. A lot of these numbers indicate capitalism. I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, I'm just saying it is so. I'm going now to mark all these very strong money numbers. We have them here, 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 and here, and here. And so we also have it. Yeah, that's it. Now these numbers, they indicate the lust for making a great deal of money, but also the ability to being great talkers and being eloquent. And you see that in, for example, schools, preschools or mid-schools, that in very early classes the young students they have to go in front of the whole class and present a thing and say, I have this, my little hamster, his name is Twiki, and he is so and so and so and so. Like we don't, for example, do this in Denmark. Like if you're American and you watch this, in Denmark we don't do this, and not many other countries of the world do this. Now this has to do with communication, and this means that communication in the United States is one thing that is very important to the culture. So about expressing your ideas, getting along with people, and also being hospitality is one of the things we see here also in this number 11-2, that we have to be friendly, but also that in a very honest way, that they really want to get along with people, and they're not like hermits that want to live on their own and just take care of themselves. They're actually warm people. And these numbers here, as previously mentioned, these numbers of aggression, these are what breeds the crime, but they have another very interesting number here. That is in the name states, which makes this number 22. This number 22 is about passion, and it's about creativity, and it's about art. It's about that you do really what you want, like following your heart, being true to yourself, and following this way that your heart tells you to go. So this means that it's about also a number you see a lot in the music industry and the movie industry and everything that has to do with expressing something, and this is a number that is not really that much about money. This is more about doing good things for people, but it also comes to be something that one makes a profit on, because, for example, once one gets a Nobel's Peace Prize and then being hired to a lot of things after due to this fame, But this number in the state, in the name states, this is very positive. This has to do with a lot of selflessness. So in the United States, a lot of people are very selfless and very kind people. And we have this number 25-7 in the name United. And this number 25-7, this is a number of learning through experience. And the essence of this number is one line. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But it also means that the nation keeps going stronger and stronger and stronger from its experiences. And here, in the higher self, we also see another combination of making a great deal of money, called the money triad. We see it here with the numbers 21, 3, 5, 8. So this is also a combination of great capitalism. And once again, I'm not saying capitalism is a bad thing, but I could also saying the great lust for money, or what can you say, the interest and passion for making success in business. So a lot of business numbers, and this is also why the United States, I'm just saying it as it is, they are the very best people in the world to make business. Because we have these very strong business numbers here, and there are not many other countries in the world who have these numbers. So, are you asking me now if the United States is a good country to live in? Yes or no? And I can't say yes or no to this, but it depends on really what you want. Because if you want to make business, and if you really have great ambitions, and if you're like, I have a great power, I really want to achieve great things, then the United States of America is a wonderful country to do this. So I hope this would inspire you to now see an example of how accurate the ancient Chaldean numerology is. And my name is August Darius Danielson. You can book a reading with me, and so I can also tell you just as amazing things about you. Thank you very much for watching this, and have an absolutely wonderful evening.